Today, we are sitting here with the fabulous Mariah Foster. Thanks for coming out. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
For people who do not know, explain a little bit about slam poetry and what it is and why you chose it.
Slam poetry itself, the modern movement, started in the East Coast with some people who were tired of the same old, poetry about fall and I don't know, the moon and all of this. So they wanted to make it more exciting. So they set up some rules where you'd pick random judges from the audience. You've got 3 minutes to deliver a performance, no props, and it just shot off from there. So part of the exciting thing is it's so new, and people can kind of make up the rules for this movement as they go. And there's so much room in it to find your own style and really present yourself however you feel that you need to be presented as an artist.
I've always liked spiders, the kind that sit right down beside her and frighten the good girls. Awaiting my arrival, love web woven, chosen time, chosen place. You hid back in your cowardice and got the best of me as I unexpectedly clotheslined into fine dining. Your flirty smiles and dirty lies were somehow pleasantly surprising. Both fight and flight immobilized, you snuggled up tight under the guise of a lover. Monster undercover, and you discovered just how tantalizing I can be. Couldn't take any of your 8 eyes off of me. Strings so silky smooth, you wrapped around and around until I was so nice and warm and safe in your suffocating embrace. Then your lips brushed my neck. Bite began poisoning. The venomous kiss seeped so sensually into me. I told everyone I was fine, that I knew what I was getting into, denied the demon hiding within you until you ripped into sinew and began to chew on my insides. I've never felt so alive. You had your fill. Satisfied and guilty, you began explaining we needed to stop these feelings from starting. Forgot to mention you'd soon be departing. You hadn't expected to fall for me so hard. Cold and lifeless, I watched you walk away, tried to escape your woven tomb, but couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Your love venom is still in me, and I envy those who've never loved at all. At first, I was just so hoping your next victim would be a spider too, so that she'd end up devouring you. And at first, I just couldn't pick between bug spray, a vacuum, or a sharp metal stick, but I'm just not all that violent. I'd probably just scoop you up and put you outside, all while secretly hoping you'd freeze and die, so you might understand what you did to me. But if it were that easy, I could still catch the bus with the friend who introduced us without going crazy. And I could go to class without running into you daily. Every time I see you, I feel queasy. When are you leaving? At least next time, I'll remember to date within my species.
So what got you started in your love of performance and poetry and all that?
Ooh, careful with the L word. It's almost more of an obsession. I hate to say that, but I think a lot of artists would agree, whether they're a musician or a dancer, that art is something you find yourself having to do. There's really no why, you just have to do it. But I do know poetry, the process of writing it and performing it, started as a way for me to deal with a lot of what was going on, when you're a teenager growing up, a lot of angst, a lot of emotions, a lot of things that you're not sure what to do with. And writing for me is a way of figuring that out. And thankfully, my way of doing that isn't destructive or self-repressive like our culture kind of tells us to do. We're taught to, drink things away or take prescription medication. But art is a way that you can deal with a lot of that and create something beautiful instead of bringing that all in and compacting it.
You are beautiful. I hope you know. You are beautiful like Renaissance paintings hung crookedly, beautiful like silence in the morning, waking up to blueberry coffee and harmony, sunsets falling east. I'm talking beautiful like bad dancing, horrible dancing, but you're smiling and laughing, and it's just beautiful. And yes, I am talking to each and every one of you. So, little girl, don't stop listening. Don't stop listening. I know you're preoccupied, trying to rebuild broken bits of self-esteem, bedazzling facades, but little girl, you are beautiful. Don't stop listening. And little boy, don't stop listening, even if you're afraid to be beautiful. I promise you have the strength to be vulnerable. I know. Because I know you. Don't you remember? I was the star that shone the night you were born. I was the heart worn on your sleeve. I've been your love muddying convictions, and I've been the earth that washed you clean. I've also been the wind whipping, trees clawing at your window, but don't let it be so frightening. Don't let me be so frightening. I was just reminding. I hope you know. Don't let it be so frightening. And don't question me when I tell you you're beautiful. I know. And don't question you when you tell you you're beautiful. I hope you know. Little girl, I will melt down your gold and mold your shattered self-esteem, making a mirror, reflecting, making a mirror. You'll see, and I won't need to say anything. We won't need to say anything. Little boy, I will place the world on your shoulders so you realize you are strong enough to be vulnerable. So you realize you are strong enough to be beautiful. Little girl, don't stop listening. Little boy, don't stop listening. The world is whispering. I am whispering. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. We need to keep listening, always listening. Keep telling each other that we are beautiful. Telling, shouting, screaming, we are strong enough to be vulnerable. We are strong enough to be beautiful. We are strong enough to be beautiful. To be beautiful. To be beautiful. To be beautiful is to be you. I hope you know.
You have a very interesting stage name.
Yes.
So explain what that is, what your stage name is first off, and where did that come from?
All right, well, my name is RAWR, amin tsunami. RAWR comes as a nickname. My birth name is Mariah. And while I was in one of the not-so-great places as a teenager, there was a staff member who couldn't really pronounce my name. He was really Southern. So anytime he said my name, he said, Marar, rah, rah. And so it kind of picked up with the girls, and it just instantly became a nickname. And everyone knew me as Marar, or Mararara, like, just a cute little nickname. And the reason that it means so much to me, not only because it was that nickname, but because it represented for me really becoming an adult, changing myself into the person that I wanted to be, getting out of these negative situations,
right.
And also very liberating, as I can be whoever I want to. And so when I perform poetry, when I do art, when I'm recording, I'm so free from most of the rules of society and almost reality. I don't know if I'll go that far, but we're getting there. That I don't feel like myself. I don't feel like Mariah Foster.
Right.
I'm this really empowered artist that can do whatever she wants to with no consequences. So it almost, to me, necessitates having another name. Tsunami comes from a couple different things. Mostly, I had a couple people mention when I was first performing, they're like, wow, that hit me really hard. It was like, like a tsunami just came over me and hit me. And I love that idea of a tsunami being, as we've seen in history, this horrible, destructive thing, but also water as being a symbol of cleansing,
right.
And life nourishing. So being a little obsessed with irony, I couldn't help but kind of cling to that idea of this ironic force of nature that can have a lot of different impacts in many different ways.
This piece discusses a lot of why I write poetry, and it's called Self-Titled because I think it discusses a lot of what I've found to define me and motivate me in life. So here, I present to you Self-Titled. I have bipolar. I imagine solemn doctors in white lab coats, dramatically removing their surgical masks, eyes cast downward, apologizing first before telling me the worst of it. We're so sorry. You have bipolar, just like we're so sorry. You have leukemia, a brain tumor, heart disease, AIDS. You fill in the blank, but I would thank God if I thanked God, because this disorder is what separates me from American monotony. Being bipolar is my transcendental fate. So love it or hate it, like it or leave it, you better believe that this disease doesn't make me any less majestic. In the beginning, I denied it. Fought the multiple diagnoses, argued there's nothing wrong with me. I'm a 15-year-old girl. I'm bound to act a little crazy. But the moods progressed slowly to drastic extremes, and Ma became obsessed with fixing my genes, neutralizing the depressed in me and the manic me so I might stop constantly antagonizing her, might stop destroying her precious things. I knew my frighteningly unpredictable air filled people with terror, but I'd seen too many teenage dreams ripped apart at the seams to think that my excessive swings were anything special. I thought, everyone's got issues at 16. And so my friends pretended not to know me. And the professionals continued to diagnose me as too close to grandiose, thought they'd prescribe a lethal dose of status quo. Morose hopes kept alive by pill companies. Oh, we only want to help you, sure, but help me what exactly? Help me accept the way you want me to be? Help me finally conform to the norms of society? I'm sorry, but that's just not going to happen. And I know Mommy truly cared. She just wanted everything to be right, but you know what? Maybe a hug would have sufficed. Hearing, I love you, or you make me proud might have been nice every once in a while. But how could a mother ever love a bastard child? How could she find the words, I miss you, within my impressive selection of issues? And in the end, I was sent to the recycling bin, where they poked, prodded, and bent me until I finally gave in, eventually melted into that mold. You made me a model bronze statue. Now I'm coming back at you. You were the ones who hardened my soul. Our juvenile justice system is the reason I am so freezing cold. I've been kept in cells where you can only tell time by counting the notches in your wrist. So please excuse my refusal to cease and desist. You trying being sent back to the manufacturer, broken to be fixed, and coming back completely shattered. Splattered on canvas like a Jackson Pollock, who just happened to be bipolar too. Which reminds me, do you know how many celebrities are diseased? Athletes, authors, artists, actors, presidents, every kind of cultural benefactor. The shaky impact of bipolar's instability is what grounds this society. Like, $10 says your favorite singer is crazier than me. Ozzy Osbourne, Sting, Axl Rose, DMX, Kurt Cobain, Pete Wentz, Jimi Hendrix. Now, I know this is a poem, not a grocery list, but I feel it's vital that you understand this. Bipolar may be life-changing, but it's by no means debilitating. You need to know that my emotion clouds my judgment no more than devotion shrouds every religious congregation. But the media loves its equivocation, portraying mental illness as an epidemic, systematically seeping into every aspect of society, burning holes into the fabric of our culture. Bipolar teen commits suicide. Bipolar veteran commits suicide. Last September, Denver Bronco Kenny McKinley shot himself. A talented young man dead, the Post boasted, because he'd been losing the war he fought inside his bipolar head, that he ought to have been getting help instead of living his dream. A tragedy, undeniably. And I don't want to mislead you, because it's true that people with bipolar have a 1 in 5 chance of committing suicide. And I said, it's true. People with bipolar have a 1 in 5 chance of committing suicide. But what you do with your diagnosis is entirely your choice. Bipolar is the source of my poetic voice, and I am so much more than the sum of my stereotypes. Statistics aren't condemning unless you let them be. No, it's a disease, they tell me, a disability. At the very least, a disorder. Disorder, mental chaos. You assume we need to right my wrong, restore tranquility, reorder. But did you ever stop to think that maybe the world needs chaos? Maybe my purpose is to upset foundations so that the architects will build a better future. Maybe I am the fire that burns down so we can learn to grow through. Maybe I'm the thorn that bids the bad blood to bleed, a thunderstorm reborn as a tsunami. Maybe I'm uncontrollable because I'm meant to be free. Maybe I'm too hot to handle because you're not supposed to touch me. Don't you ever diss my order, you piss-poor power whore. You're a sorry excuse for authority. Who are you to tell me that I'm wrong? I refuse to believe that a strong sense of belonging is proof of righteousness. That's merely mindless compliance. And who are you to tell me that I'm broken? A token of your concern, a yearning to burn the past of pain that flows behind me like a bridal train, but let's get this straight right now. I am not insane. Though some days, my reflection won't even look me in the eye. I just want to be me. Remaining, self-sustaining, just me. I'm not asking for anything more. So keep your pity, shove your sympathy, stop telling me that diversity is constricting, for you'd then be missing the purpose of this piece of poetry. Different is not bad, wrong, or worthless. I have bipolar. Let me be.
We've done a few things together, and we've met about a year ago. You've done some interviews with us and stuff like that, and I gotta agree with the tsunami part because it's like a total different person, and it does wash over you very strongly. And I still get goosebumps every time I hear you. So I appreciate you taking your time out, coming here with us today, and sharing your talent with us. So thank you very much, Mariah.
You guys are fantastic.
Thank you guys very much. Have a great day.